So Witness is a property investor. He's a visionary leader, he's a writer, successful businessman. And those of you who are in property would love to find out more about property. This guy's got knowledge about the property industry, and he's going to come and share with us. He's got a book here, Langi Pete, titled, It's More Than Just Money. It's more than just money. Ladies and gentlemen, let's show some love. Let's get up on our feet. Let's show some love. Let's show some love. Let's get the energy up in this room. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Witness Mtaga. Let's continue to show love, show love, show love, show love, show love, show love, show love. It's like you came with the fan base. He wasn't expecting one. All right, Witness, over to you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Are you well? Ni right? Yebo. Okay. Beautiful place, eh? I'm here for the first time. Shimza, big ups, my man. Beautiful, beautiful place. So, yeah, my name is Witness Mtaka. I'm a property investor by profession. I run a property company. And I recently wrote this book. I wrote this book during lockdown. And it was actually a way of sharing knowledge with people, property-related knowledge. So I'm gonna take a few minutes of your time and go through a few fundamentals for businesses. All right? So the main thing that I look at, that I think is very, very important, particularly for us in the black community, is for us to understand the fundamentals and the cornerstones of wealth creation. You know, for us to have that understanding of what exactly is wealth, what does it look like, and when I do have it, what do I do with it, right? So the three things that I know and I believe that are the cornerstone of wealth creation, the first one obviously is business, and second one is property, and the third one is investing in shares. Very, very important. So those three things have been tested by time, you know, so for generations and decades and centuries, those have been the cornerstones of wealth creation over time. So over time, obviously, there have been others that have been added into the mix, things like Bitcoin and all other volatile things. But what I know is that if you are properly invested in a business that you started, or a business that was started by somebody else and you happen to put some money into that business, and that business succeeds, you will make a lot of money out of that, right? And the nice thing about that is that if you've built a business and that business is doing well, you're able to leave it for your kids. So most of the time, when people invite me and say, look, I'm starting a business, I would like you to be part of the business, I would like you to either invest in the business or play an advisory role in this particular business, even if it's not full-time, right? Most of the time I say to the people, if you are planning to give me a salary, I don't want it. I want to have a stake in the business. Why? Because my mindset is I've got to be able to hand this over to my son one day. I've got to be able to hand this over to my daughter one day. So you and I sitting here, our mindset should be around that. How do I build something that is not only going to fund my lifestyle now? It's not just about having a nice car and a nice house, but this is something that I'm building in such a way that the structures will exist even if I'm not here, and my child will be able to take over from this business. All right? And then secondly is that, you know, you want to be able to take up all the cash that you make and park it somewhere. And by pocket, you literally mean finding cash flow positive properties that you can put your money in that will continue to generate revenue for you, even when your business might not exist. So a lot of people during lockdown lost their businesses. Some lost revenues in their businesses. But those who were properly invested in the residential space did not cry, myself included, right? So because at that particular moment, everybody had to stay home. And when you are home, you have to pay for where you're putting most of your time in, right? People did not pay their offices. So there are office blocks that we have and manage. There are a lot of people that did not pay for their offices. But most of our tenants in the residential space paid for their rent for where they slept. So, which means the people who thought ahead when their businesses were doing well and parked money into properties continued to make money even when the situation was not so good, right? And thirdly, you look at the fact that if you're a businessman, you've got to find other ways in which you are withholding cash for the next generation. So we look at things like shares. I have a friend, I think he says he bought Sasol shares for 250,000 before lockdown. And 3-4 months later, they were worth 1.2 million. And I thought to myself, damn, that bus missed me. I missed that bus, But these are things which you could start with $100 a month, $300 a month. Taking money for the long term and putting it into your share portfolio and making sure that you are hedging against risk. You've got your business, which is the fundamental of you literally becoming a successful and prominent person in the business space. You're running that or you've invested in that. You've got your share, your property portfolio that you are adding property by property, unit by unit, and making sure that at a later stage or even now it's going to give you cash flow. And then you're putting some money in your share investment portfolio, making sure that all these three, you've hedged against some form of risk. So if things don't do well in the share investment space, I know I've got my property portfolio that is running and giving me cash flow. If things don't go well there, which rarely happens unless you've made a big mistake, you've got your business that is running and is giving you cash flow, right? So I also want to look at one of the things I discuss in my book. It's more than just money, So there are 7 fundamentals that I think business people should actually have and understand when they are starting out, when they are growing their businesses. The first thing that I think we need to have is vision. You and I have to have a strong vision for what we want to accomplish. So if you start a business without a vision, you'll make your first $1 million or $2 million, and the first thing you're going to do is buy a car, right? Because there is no sense of growth in that. You don't have a plan. You don't have that thing you're good to. When I reach my first $1 million, I want to do 10 million. When I reach 10 million, I want to do 100 million. So only a vision protects you from making stupid mistakes, basically. Because if you don't have one, and you are seeing it for the first time, and your friends drive really nice cars, you're also going to want to have a really nice car, right? Because you're making the money, but there is no vision to protect you from making those mistakes, right? And then secondly, you've got to have wisdom. So wisdom, usually, it can be pragmatic or it can be theoretical, right? It could be something in the manner in which your mind is wired or the manner in which you do things. That's the pragmatic part, the practical part of wisdom. So we know you've got wisdom when you do things in a certain way. So we could look at a person and say, the way this person makes decisions, he or she is wise. Or we can look at the person's decision making and say, the way this person makes decision, clearly he's not smart enough or he's not wise enough. So we've got to put ourselves in a position where we spend time with people that have got the knowledge, people that are wise, attending events like this, so that we could learn by osmosis, learn by environment, and capture what these people are telling us, all right? And then thirdly, we have to have access to information. So we have to be avid collectors of information, right? So a lot of people, what I've seen, they would say, I couldn't build that or I can't do that because I don't have the information that is required. But the minute you put yourself in a position where you are constantly learning, Right? Jim Rohn says you must turn your house into a library, where you're constantly learning about something new, whether be it about your business or general knowledge, right? And then fourthly, the fourth thing is that you must build relationships. I saw something that Swu did at the beginning. He said that find somebody that you've never met and connect with them, right? So what he's trying to do there is trying to get us to build relationships with people that are in either the same space that we are in or are in business, so I've got the same mindset. What relationships do, like for instance, I know for a fact, let's say I'm not around, I'm out of the province or out of the country, and something happens and my wife or kids need something. There's that one person that I'm going to make a phone call to, and I know they're going to sort it out. Right? So on the lighter side, it doesn't necessarily have to always be business relationships. But those other relationships in other parts of your life that make sure that even if you are not there, your life continues, your business continues. So it's important to value the people around us and build strong, solid relationships with. So Sammy was speaking here, right? So I've known Sammy for many years now. So back in the days, I used to have a spaza shop with a friend of mine. And before we started that spaza shop, so we actually wanted to compete with the Pakistani guys and said, we need to start a black brand of spaza shop that are going to be happening and running. And we went to Sammy and said, Sammy, he had a relationship with a friend of mine called Gift. We went to him. We sat down with him. And he gave us all the knowledge that we needed, where to buy the stock, where to buy it cheaply, and how to run that type of a business. All that because of a relationship that he had with somebody, right? So now, many years later, I know for a fact that if I need advice concerning distribution, he's a phone call away, right? Because the relationship was maintained over the years. So it's very important for us to look after the relationships that we have, right? The fifth thing is a good name. You see, when you've got a good name, look, among your peers, for instance, we know for a fact that Gugu is dependable. I know for a fact that if I call on her, she will be there to sort my problem out. So as a business person, if you are dependable, you've got a good name, right? People who've got a good name walk into the bank, or the bank calls them and offers them money, simply because his name is so and so, right? So when you think of the name Mandela, well, people are associated with different things, but mainly across the world, it's associated with goodness. Someone says, I'm Mandela, you hold them in high esteem, even if their name is not Nelson. The fact that your name is Mandela, that's good enough, right? Names like Gandhi, very good names. The minute I go Hitler, even if he did nothing wrong to you, you go, no. So on a smaller scale, our reputation, our brand matters. We've got to look after it and care for it, right? And then number 6, I spoke about property. You've got to buy property. Very, very, very important. 100 years from today, people will still be needing a place to sleep. Bitcoin can come in and go. Many other businesses can start. I will be in business in 100 years' time. I'm very sure about that. Who can argue against it? No one, right? So you want to have a business where you know that it doesn't matter. Warren Buffett, when he did his investments, apparently he looked at Chappies and said, 100 years from now, people will still be chewing gum. So there are those things where if you want to invest or build your business, you want to be sure that, will this thing be here so many years from now? If the answer is no, then you look at building up your business in such a way that it can start investing in the things that are going to be here 100 years later. Right? So if you're not there yet, it's not a train smash. You can start now structuring your business in such a way that your investments are going towards those things. And last one is money. Guys, I can't stress this enough. We've got to guard the cash. We've got this culture that we have in our communities, the culture of consumerism, the culture of me showing you that I've arrived. We've got to let go of that culture, you know. The only way I know you have arrived is when you've built up so many assets that you are working because you love work. You are not working because you are forced to work. You know, there are people that live in big houses, right? But they only live there and they are trapped in that lifestyle. So the person earns a lot of money, but they can't leave their job. So that's called working without any sense of freedom. You know, so when you work, you've got to work with a sense of freedom. I'm working now, but at some stage, I need to be able to say to guys when they call me that, guys, I'm not available. My son is swimming today. I'm not available. I'm playing golf today. I'm not available. I'm going to tea today. It's very important, right? When we are working, let us work with a sense of freedom. Thank you very much for giving me your ear. Much appreciated. Very smooth.